At the start of the movie, we meet a team of professional robbers. There's Lily, Wilson, who is a retired, Lucas, who's a hacker, and Miguel. 5 days before they start their plan, Miguel and his uncle Wilson go to a fancy resort in the Caribbean, where Miguel works there as a waiter under his boss's watch. While Miguel serves the resort's guests, he meets Lily, who's relaxing by the pool, looking for people to steal from. As a professional thief, Lily can tell how rich someone is by observing their behavior and appearance. Additionally, Lucas, besides being great with computers and games, he also comes from a rich family too. That night, Miguel meets a Spanish tourist named Louise, who talks about his great-grandfather Francisco de Montejo and the legendary AJ took treasure, which, according to Luis's father, never left Yucatan. AJ Took was the last ruler of the respected Khan dynasty in Mayan times, known for gathering lots of riches, including a special jaguar statue made of pure gold, which he was buried with. Meanwhile, someone unknown secretly watches Louise. At the same time, Miguel, who's drunk, goes with Louise to his hotel room, where Louise shows him a map tattooed on his body. Tempted by the treasure that Louise described, Miguel begins to think about hunting for it until he falls asleep by the poolside. Next morning, Miguel plans to meet Louise in his room but finds him gone. It turns out, Miguel is the son of Juan Morales, a famous archaeologist who found many Mayan artifacts in Yucatan, Mexico. Sadly, Juan's mind isn't as sharp as before. After that, Miguel reads a magazine and finds out about an upcoming event celebrating the opening of a Mayan museum, organized by a young archaeologist named Ariel, who was once a student of Juan. While Miguel grew up to be a thief with his uncle. Miguel, who was still a kid, was already skilled at stealing things, and was even able to drive a car with his father at a young age. At that time, Juan got caught by illegal treasure hunters, so Miguel stepped in quickly to help them both escape. But Miguel's intentions weren't entirely good, but he wanted to trick tourists by selling fake ancient artifact to make money. When his uncle, pretending to be a cop, caught Miguel in his lies, Miguel pretended to be arrested. After that, Miguel went back to Wilson and suggested a plan to steal Mayan treasures, even though Wilson didn't want it because he was retired. After that, Miguel told Wilson about meeting Louise, who had a map of treasures tattooed on his belly. Next morning, fishermen found a body of a man in the sea. At the same time, Inspector Conch came, along with his assistant named Ines. They found out that the dead person was Louise, and his tattooed treasure map on his stomach was cut. Not long after, Wilson informs that Louise has been found dead, although Miguel saw the signature of Francisco de Montejo and the Khan dynasty glyph on his stomach. But Miguel doesn't give up easily because he has already photographed the map. It turns out, Miguel considers stealing the entire Mayan nation's map that will be displayed in Ariel's museum because there are no clues about degrees and coordinates. Then Miguel plans to recruit Lily again as a disguise expert and Lucas, who is skilled in hacking. Suddenly, someone grabbed Miguel's phone and ran off, so he ran after them. The thief, a woman, boldly jumped from a bridge with Miguel's phone. Upon seeing this, Wilson immediately caught the thief, but she stayed calm when she realized his police badge was fake. Finally, Miguel got his phone back and found the thief's bag full of stolen phones. Meanwhile, someone on a cruise ship watched Miguel closely, holding a piece of Luis's skin with a tattoo on it. After that, Miguel tried to get Lily to help him steal a treasure map worth millions of dollars. But Lily wasn't interested, so Miguel criticized her for preferring to steal from drunk tourists for money. The scene changes to the morgue, where Ines looks at the body of the man that missing his stomach skin. After that, Ines finds a hotel room key in the man's pants pocket. On the other hand, Lily watches every tourist carefully, trying to figure out who is rich until she picks one who seems to have nearly $1 million. Using her skills, Lily smoothly steals the man's wallet and phone. But she doesn't get far before the police catch her as she leaves the hotel room and put her in jail. Unable to pay a big ransom, Lily reluctantly asks Miguel for help. With Miguel's help, Lily gets released eventually, but she's still cold towards him, even though they used to be romantically involved. Thankful for Miguel's help, Lily reluctantly joins the gang of thieves. Meanwhile, Lucas successfully hacks into the museum that Ariel is opening. 2 days before the planned opening, the team intentionally turn off the air conditioning system on purpose. Lily, disguised as a student, is given the job of stealing a key from a staff member so they can make a copy. Shortly after, while pretending to be a receptionist, Lily stops the real technician who's supposed to fix the AC, saying the problem is fixed. After that, Wilson and Miguel dress up as AC technicians and get in. They go up to the rooftop, where Miguel goes through the ventilation duct to reach the room with the Maya Nation map. But there's a problem because the layout of the ventilation system is different from what Lucas had told them. Luckily, Miguel's lucky coin tell him to go right, and he ends up right above the map. After hacking the CCTV camera, Miguel comes down and takes pictures of each page of the map. Shortly after, he changes his appearance to look like the other guests. Unfortunately, Miguel accidentally sets off an alarm sensor by stepping on it, and he gets trapped in the room. On the other hand, Lucas struggles to get past the extra security in the room, making the process longer. Seeing Miguel in trouble, Wilson quickly takes Lily back to the museum to help him. Meanwhile, Ariel, busy with his guests, is called to the monitor room by his assistant. At the same time, Conch and Ines are the police that assigned to protect the museum. Ines then tells Conch that a servant who recently served his boss has stolen his wallet. On the other hand, getting tired of being stuck, Miguel tries to relax by smoking a cigarette. Suddenly, the red light in the next room changes to blue. At that moment, Ariel's assistants don't see anything suspicious in the room, so they think it's just a problem with the system. Feeling tricked, Ariel goes straight to the map room. It turns out the fire alarm system has made the room soundproof, making it harder for Miguel to breathe. With a seductive appearance, Lily cleverly distracted Ariel, allowing Miguel to escape. At first, Ariel didn't trust Lily's excuse and pretended to keep her back, but when he found an invitation card on her, he let her go. Meanwhile, Miguel managed to get away just as Ariel came into the room. At that moment, Wilson saw Miguel hiding near Ariel's feet. Later, Miguel came down and was about to leave with Wilson, but he stopped when he found out Lily was still inside. Upon seeing this, Ariel got suspicious of Miguel because of his messy clothes, but Miguel said it was just the latest fashion. Before Ariel could search him, Lily quickly took Miguel's phone. Both Miguel and Ariel were captivated by Lily's beauty and charm. Finally, the group of thieves met up again at their hideout. To avoid being watched or having information leaked, Lucas suggested a standard procedure by putting their phones in the refrigerator. After that, they looked at all the photos of the Maya Nation treasure map and carefully matched them with the ones Miguel took from Luis's body. Shortly after, they focused on a place called Zonit that's surrounded by water, although Lily wasn't sure about it because of its maze-like tunnels. Unknown to them, someone had listened in on their whole conversation about their treasure hunt plans. Despite Lucas being important to the plan, he hesitated at first because his parents were coming back soon. But Lily convinced him to join anyway. Unfortunately, their plans were messed up when Wilson accidentally replied to a message that could have leaked their plans because someone was eavesdropping. At the same time, watching hotel security footage, Ines saw Miguel, who she thought was the thief, going into a room with the victim, Louise. Shortly after, the group planned to leave the hotel for Yucatan, Mexico, just as Ines showed up to catch Miguel. When she called out to them, Miguel and Lucas ran away from her. Despite being chased closely, they managed to escape from the police. Meanwhile, a young thief named Citlali was supported her mother and siblings financially. Soon after, Miguel noticed Citlali's skill in diving and offered her a job. After some discussion, Citlali agreed to the terms, which included getting $20,000 upfront each day. It turns out, Lucas was immediately attracted to Citlali when he saw her. After that, the team asked Lucas to help with getting Citlali's payment. Using his skills, Lucas came up with a plan to multiply the money taken from the ATM. Meanwhile, a mafia boss who had the map found on Luis's body and someone spying on Miguel's team made their presence known. The mafia boss and his group got to the sinkhole location early, which was underwater. However, the diver hired by the mafia boss, who wasn't experienced, refused to go further, and he ended up killed. On the other hand, the group was on their way to find the treasure, but suddenly there were police officers patrolling in the middle of the road. When asked for their IDs and licenses, they found out Wilson's license had expired. To make things worse, Citlali saw one of the officers holding a photo of Miguel. Faced with this situation, Lily reminded Miguel about what they did in Tijuana. So, Miguel and Wilson got out of the car, while Lily told Citlali to drive. Even though the police shot at them and chased them, they managed to escape on foot and continued towards their destination. Shortly after, when they reached a cave with a lake, the team got ready to dive and search for clues about the treasure. Using a sonar device in the water, Lucas guessed the treasure was between 100 to 150 meters away. With the help of communication devices, Lally organized the diving distances accordingly. Meanwhile, Wilson, who was on guard outside, got a message from someone demanding repayment of a debt right away. So, once they found the treasure, Lucas wanted his share immediately. While diving, Lally went quite far and used up all her oxygen. Upon knowing this, Lucas got worried and quickly went down with a small oxygen tank. Inside the cave, Lally found a small opening where she could breathe. Then, she told Miguel they found what they were looking for. At the same time, Lucas went to rescue someone. Upon knowing that the diving was to hunt for a treasure, Lally insisted she deserved part of the treasure since she was part of the team. Not long after, Lally found a box in the water with moon-shaped stones inside. As they came up, they met a group of criminals who had captured Wilson. When they tried to force Miguel to give them the box, he threatened to throw the stone in the water. After they escaped, Miguel swallowed the stone on purpose, which led to his eventual arrest. As Wilson and the others tried to escape from the criminals, Lally helped Lucas get to safety in a tree because his leg was hurt and he couldn't run fast. Even though Wilson couldn't move much, Lily quickly stepped in to help him fight off one of the attackers. When the attacker got up again, Lily knocked him out with a stone. Watching Miguel get taken by the criminals, Lucas, using his gaming skills, compared the situation to playing Fortnite. Seeing a motorcycle nearby, Lucas took the chance to follow the car carrying Miguel. Turns out, this was Lucas's first time using a motorcycle in the real world, and he was frightened when the criminal fired shots. But Lucas accelerated his motorcycle and finally managed to attach a tracker to the car, although in the end, he fell too. Later, Miguel was taken to the gang leader headquarters named Marco, where a surgeon was ready to get the crescent-shaped stone out of Miguel's stomach. Meanwhile, Wilson, Lily, and Lally had to walk because the criminals took Wilson's car. On the other hand, Lucas followed the signal from the tracker on foot, but Vincenzo found and broke the tracker. While they waited for a car to pass by, Wilson saw Louise's skin, which had clues about the treasure that he had taken from the criminals. Then, Lally boldly stopped a passing car to get a ride back to the hotel. Meanwhile, Lucas reached the gangster's headquarters. He climbed onto the roof of the building and used a small drone to find Miguel, eventually spotting him in a prison cell. At first, Miguel was confused but then realized Lucas was controlling the drone. At that moment, Lucas promised Miguel he wouldn't leave until their team came to rescue him. Sadly, Marco disabled the drone, so Lucas quickly ran away into the forest. Meanwhile, Miguel managed to call Wilson and tell him he was being held at the gangster's headquarters. To deal with the criminals, Lily came up with a plan to get help from Octavio, a former soldier who now meditated on his ship. At first, Octavio armed himself when Lily showed up unexpectedly. It turns out, Octavio used to be Lily's partner in crime before he retired from the military to become a professional thief. Even though Octavio said he didn't need money and refused to join the treasure hunt at first, Lily didn't believe him. She knew Octavio's former lawyer was looking for him since he got out of prison. Eventually, Octavio agreed and showed Lily his big collection of weapons, including her favorites. Not long after, Lily and the team found Lucas sleeping in the forest before heading to Marco's headquarters. At the same time, the surgeon who was supposed to operate on Miguel's stomach had arrived. Meanwhile, Lily's favorite rifle had syringe bullets, which helped them quickly deal with the gang members at Marco's base. Not wasting time, Octavio and Lily worked together from the rooftop to take down the gangsters with precision, leaving no one unharmed. Meanwhile, Lally and Lucas teamed up to take out two enemies near the prison cell. On the other hand, Miguel had surgery on his stomach without anesthesia, causing him to scream in pain. At the same time, Octavio fought the gang leader in hand-to-hand combat, showing strong determination against the attackers. Wilson, who was in charge of placing explosives around the headquarters, faced Vincenzo again. Instead of shooting the enemy, Lily shot Vincenzo's leg. But the syringe needle failed to knock down this gangster. Luckily, Wilson had the idea to use his prosthetic leg to strike Vincenzo. After Marco came out of the cell, Lucas and Lally went in. Marco was shocked to see Octavio emerge from the pile of bodies after his henchmen were defeated. As Marco aimed to shoot Octavio, Lucas quickly got Miguel out of the cell, allowing the team to escape from the headquarters successfully. Shortly after, the team successfully escaped from the headquarters and returns to the hotel, including Octavio, who managed to survive even though his body was covered in explosion dust. After that, Citlali was surprised to find out that Lucas was the hotel owner's son. However, there was a debate about Octavio's promised payment of $1 million compared to Citlali's $20,000. Because the stone failed to be removed, Miguel finally expelled it while using the bathroom, believing it was a clue to the treasure. When he showed the stone to his father, Juan was happy but said they needed 3 stones, including earth and sunstones, to get the golden jaguar. Even though they didn't know where to find the stones, Juan suggested asking Ariel for help. Upon hearing this, Miguel felt hurt because it seemed like his dad thought he wasn't capable, which disappointed Wilson. As they left, Miguel accidentally left his father's journal behind, which might have important clues. Suddenly, Ines and her police team ambushed the group, and it seems that she knew Octavio. At that moment, Miguel saw his father getting taken by Vincenzo and tried to stop it but couldn't, ending up collapsing when Ines arrested him. At the hospital, a police officer warned Miguel not to say anything if he wanted to keep his father safe. Meanwhile, another gang of criminals was caught at the police station, where it came out that Ines used to be Octavio's girlfriend. Even though they had their criminal records, the detective couldn't get any cooperation from them. Meanwhile, Lucas's mother didn't seem to care about her son being in trouble at the station while being busy with her affairs. Octavio, who used to be Ines's partner, knew she was a widow with a child. When they showed a picture of Louise, no one recognized him. At the same time, Ines was furious when she found out her son had been kidnapped. Not long after, during Miguel's interrogation, he couldn't deny the evidence Ines showed him, like CCTV footage of him taking Louise to a hotel room. It was then that Ines realized the skin taken from Luis's stomach was actually a map to the treasure. Meanwhile, Octavio, who was thrown into the cell, managed to escape easily using the pin he took from Ines. After that, he started a breakout, but they were stopped by an inspector who unexpectedly let them all go. It turns out, Ariel had arranged for their release, after paying their bail as Lily asked. After that, Ariel offers to help Miguel, who he saw him as a mentor, and said he knew about their museum break-in. But Miguel refused the offer. Later, Ines complained to her boss about him taking bribes. While gathering on the beach, Octavio and Citlali thought about leaving the group, but they got interrupted by phone calls, probably from the people who kidnapped Juan. They needed to find Juan's stone to get him back. It turns out, Juan was being held in Marco's new base and said he was an archaeologist looking for the Maya treasure, just like Marco. On the other hand, Ines talked to her disabled son and complained about her ex-husband, who had bribed the judge. Not long after, during a meeting in Wilson's office, the team noticed they were being watched by Marco's men. Miguel quickly told a story about 3 knights named Pedro, Alonso, and Francisco, who found the treasure but hid it from the Spanish king. Wanting to get his father's journal back, Miguel suggested they create a distraction. Meanwhile, Lily was being followed by Vincenzo, while Octavio secretly hid under their car. Shortly after, it was Wilson's turn to leave with Miguel, followed by one of Marco's men. At that moment, Lily went into a nail salon, and Vincenzo went to eat at a nearby restaurant. At the same time, Lucas tried to hack into one of the enemy's phones. In the town square, Miguel got out of the car to go back to his father's house, while Lily changed her appearance to avoid being seen by Vincenzo, who was busy eating. When Miguel saw a picture of his father holding a globe, he realized the journal might be inside it. Not long after, Lily went to Ariel's house to find out about the Earthstone and the Sunstone. Even though Ariel didn't believe in the Maya treasure, he showed Lily one of his maps that had important clues from Miguel's journal. Using a magnifying glass, Lily saw her jade stone on Ariel's necklace. When Marco's men realized they were tricked at Ariel's place, they told Marco, giving Lucas a chance to hack Marco's phone. As a result, Marco was surprised when Miguel called him, asking to talk to his father in exchange for the stone. Miguel thought the stones might be in the knights' tombs, like Lily guessed before. Suddenly, Ines pointed a gun at Miguel, holding the moonstone. She initially wanted to arrest the criminals, but then said she wanted a part of the treasure too. When they arrived at the headquarters, Octavio immediately incapacitated Marco's henchmen, but Octavio couldn't find one, only his cigarette but remained. This is where it was revealed that Marco's boss was actually Ariel. At that moment, the group found themselves in a cathedral church, believed to be where the knights were buried. Lily and some members disguised themselves to fool the pastor, while Wilson went with Miguel to the governor of the Kingdom of Guatemala's quarters, where stolen artifacts were kept. Shortly after, Lily pretended to help a person believed to be possessed to convince the pastor to let them in for a healing ritual, along with a bribe. While searching the catacomb room, Miguel found the sunstone and a beautiful necklace for Lily, but they got caught by security. Luckily, Inés saved Miguel and Wilson and kept the evidence. After that, Octavio dug up one of the knights' tombs and found the Earth Stone. At the same time, the team was surprised when Miguel introduced Inés as their new member. With the stones the team had, they needed to figure out where the treasure was. After combining them, a light appeared, but suddenly Lucas's mother, Marissa, showed up and kicked them out as she paid for the hotel. Shortly after, to free Juan, Miguel had the idea to create a duplicate. But Marco suddenly came, knowing they had all 3 stones, and made Miguel give them up. Meanwhile, Ariel tried to get Juan to tell him where the treasure was by offering help, but Juan couldn't remember where he left the journal. At that moment, Miguel gave Lily a stolen necklace to try to win her favor again. Meanwhile, Lucas faced money problems for the treasure hunt because Marissa blocked his credit card. On the other hand, Citlali stole the tools needed to make a fake copy and gave them to Wilson. After that, Miguel and Lily went to Ariel's house to ask for help in getting Juan out, not knowing Ariel was behind Juan's kidnapping. Miguel then trusted Ariel with his journal, thinking Ariel knew more about archaeology. Shortly after, Ariel invited them onto his yacht, trying to impress Lily with his wealth. After that, Lily pretended to need the bathroom and, being a thief, sneaked into a locked room and found Juan, but Ariel caught her. Meanwhile, Octavio showed Inés his weapons, though only a gun was needed for the job. During a dinner arranged by Lucas to introduce his mother to the group, Citlali revealed her career as an influencer. However, she secretly took Marissa's wallet during the meal to steal her ATM card. Meanwhile, Wilson successfully replicated the stone as planned. In another place, escorted by Ariel and his guards, Miguel and Wilson met with Marco and his allies, while Citlali and Lucas watched from a hidden spot. At the same time, Lily discreetly passed the journal hidden under her skirt to Juan. During the meeting, Marco pressured Miguel to hand over the stones immediately. It was then revealed that Ariel was actually Marco's boss. When it became clear that the stone was fake, Wilson reluctantly gave up the real one. Miguel had already suspected Ariel's betrayal after recognizing his father's unique scent. Moreover, Miguel had paid Ariel's guards more, allowing the team to leave without trouble. Despite struggling initially to open the door, Lily and Juan were eventually saved by Inés, who tracked them using a device hidden in Lily's necklace. After that, Miguel felt relieved knowing his father was safe. It turned out, he had purposely let Ariel take 2 of the original stones, while keeping the green jade one to protect his father. They also realized they couldn't secure the treasure without the real moonstone. After discussing it thoroughly, they decided the treasure was likely still in the pyramid. Shortly after, the team got ready to fly to Yucatan, Mexico, and celebrated on the plane until they fell asleep. Meanwhile, Octavio saw the pilot unexpectedly leave the aircraft. On the other hand, Ariel made a deal with someone before the plane took off. While on the plane, the team panicked because the plane was flying without a pilot, suspecting their drinks were drugged with sleeping pills. Octavio tried to open the co-pilot's door but couldn't. However, they felt relieved knowing the plane was still heading to the pyramid. Their main concern was finding out who drugged them. Shortly after, Wilson was the first to speak up, saying he was robbed the night before, backed up by Lucas's phone analysis. At the same time, Citlali found 3 parachutes on board, not enough for all 7 passengers. They decided to jump in pairs, leaving the traitor behind. After that, Miguel admitted that he went to get marijuana for his father, while Lily said she was attacked at home. Shortly after, Citlali, claiming she was at a party, was caught trying to steal money from Lucas's room. After that, Inés admitted to going home despite a break-in, while Octavio is the only one that refused to share his phone. Suddenly, the plane experienced severe turbulence, causing Lily to fall, which prompting Miguel to jump after her with a parachute. Followed by Lucas and Citlali jumped together, while Inés offered Wilson and Octavio to join them, but Octavio chose to sacrifice himself on the plane. In the end, they all landed safely, though scattered at first. It was revealed that Miguel helped Lily the previous night. Additionally, Ines confessed she joined Miguel to get money for her child's return, even if she had to bribe the president. After that, Wilson stressed the importance of protecting Miguel, whom he saw as his own son. Lily, upon learning about Wilson's medication, found out Miguel's uncle was battling pancreatic cancer. Shortly after, the group regathered to continue their journey to the pyramid, but Marco confronted them again when they arrived. It was revealed that Lily was the traitor, admitting to accepting Ariel's offer. After that, the team was thrown into a cave inside the pyramid with no way out. After that, Lily gave Ariel clues about where the treasure might be. Clues in an ancient document hinted that Francisco took the treasure and left his lover behind. Unexpectedly, Octavio appeared and saved the team. In historical records, Francisco set sail for Spain with 2 ships headed for Santiago de Cuba. One ship reached its destination, but the fate of the other remained a mystery. After that, Lily believed that the missing ship sank after 3 days, possibly near Cancun or Cuba. At the same time, Ariel was unaware that Lily had drugged him with sleeping pills. Despite the team's suspicions, Lily hadn't betrayed the team. Suddenly, Marco reappeared at the museum. No longer following Ariel's orders, Marco shot himself in the foot. It was revealed that the scar on Marco's face was due to an action taken by Miguel when he was young while saving his father. At that time, Wilson prevented him when this criminal was about to shoot Miguel. Unfortunately, Wilson was stabbed to death. At that moment, the team was trapped in the museum without Octavio and Ines' knowledge. Remembering a past experience in the museum, Miguel advised everyone to hold their breath. Inside the sealed museum room, they struggled to breathe. After that, Citlali loosened her restraints. At the same time, after realizing they were being watched by surveillance cameras, Octavio rushed to help the team, defeating the attackers and forcing open the door despite sustaining severe injuries. Wilson survived, despite his critical condition. After that, they captured Ariel, despite still feeling resentful toward him. Refusing medical help, Wilson told Miguel about his cancer diagnosis, choosing to stay with the team until his death. Not long after, the group set sail on a boat for their journey. With little time left, Wilson gave Lily a passport with a new name, then asked Miguel for one last cigar. It turns out, Wilson wanted Miguel to have his part of the treasure and wished for a burial at sea if they succeeded. Later, Wilson passed away, leaving Miguel and the team grieving. That night, Miguel studied the map and thought about the stars. Initially thinking the map was useless, Miguel changed his mind when he found hidden markings. By matching the map with his star chart, Miguel decoded the coordinates to the treasure's location, which was in dangerous waters where ships often wrecked. Without delay, the team sailed their boat towards the coordinates. Not long after, the team successfully reached the location of Francisco's sunken ship. Afterwards, Miguel, Citlali, and Lucas dove to the seabed and retrieved a box, which they brought ashore quickly. After that, the 3 stones they had acted as keys to open the box. Miguel explained that each of the 3 knights had unique traits and interests. And in fact, Francisco was known as a cheater and thief. Francisco also made this safe with 3 keys because Pedro and Alfonso were killed first, but the moonstone key held by Francisco was the only key that did not require the other 2. At that moment, Miguel used the moon key, and finally, the treasure they had been pursuing for so long was successfully obtained. Besides jewelry and gold, there was a jaguar with emerald eyes inside this chest. At the same time, sensing danger, Ines tried to find the truth. Once more, Marco and his henchmen appeared to claim the treasure. Octavio tried to confront Marco but was swiftly subdued by his men. Not staying silent, Ines quickly dealt with Marco's allies, with Lily landing the final blow on the criminal. Just as Marco prepared to strike back, Ariel intervened, firing the first shot. Finally, Miguel finished off his uncle's killer. After that, Ariel aimed to add the golden jaguar to his museum for everyone to enjoy its beauty. However, the rest of the gold was up for grabs for the team. Just as Lily was about to leave with her jaguar, Miguel, not wanting her to go, fatally shot her. In the end, the golden jaguar ended up in Ariel's museum, and each team member received a large sum from the treasure. At that moment, Juan was proud of Miguel's success, and Ines got her child back, with Octavio offering to help care for him full-time. Although everyone thinks Lily is dead, but in fact, Miguel reunites with Lily again. It turns out, it's part of their plan to fake her death. Miguel invites her back into the next adventure, marking the end of the film. Moral lesson from the story: when chasing treasure, make sure your parachute isn't packed with sleeping bags. And if you're ever planning a treasure hunt, don't forget your lucky coin, because you never know when it might lead you to a golden jaguar.